From Vermont Public, this is The Frequency. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. It's Monday, June 9th, and here are today's headlines. Economic storm clouds may be gathering on the horizon, but the state's financial position remains strong, at least for now. The state took in $68 million more in April than had been forecast. Secretary of Administration Sarah Clark said in a statement that leaves little doubt Vermont will end the fiscal year with a surplus. But there could be shortfalls in the state's transportation fund. Clark noted particularly the threat of tariffs continue to influence consumer spending and travel during the summer tourism season. As the summer kicks in, campgrounds in the Northeast Kingdom say they are seeing a slow start to the season. Jasmine Bogie works for Whitecap's campground on Lake Willoughby in Westmore. She says about 75% of their clientele is from Canada.
It's a quieter summer. It's starting to pick up. We did see a lot of drop-in reservations from Canadians, but the more and more that people start coming, the more comfortable they feel. It's starting to pick back up.
Many Canadian tourists are boycotting travel to the United States over tensions between the two countries. Bogie says Whitecaps value their Canadian guests and wants to extend a warm welcome to those thinking about planning a stay. A new addiction treatment center is set to open in Bennington soon. The new facility will be able to prescribe people methadone, a drug used to treat opiate misuse. The treatment is currently unavailable in the Bennington area, that according to reporting by the Bennington Banner. Patients seeking methadone treatment now travel to neighboring communities who offer it, like Brattleboro and Rutland, or across the border in Massachusetts. A renovated space on Depot Street in Bennington will soon house the center, operated by BART Behavioral Services Incorporated. The Banner reports that BART operates 4 other addiction treatment centers statewide. And most lawmakers have been on a 2-week break from the State House, while House and Senate negotiators try to figure out a path on education reform. But while leaders were at work trying to salvage a deal on this year's marquee legislation, one rank-and-file lawmaker decided to have some fun. On Thursday, Montpelier Representative Connor Casey was tasked with gaveling the House chamber in for a token session. That's a procedural tactic that allows the legislature to remain active without actually voting on any bills. The Democrat stood in front of a mostly empty chamber and read from a play he'd written himself, inspired by his dog Linus. He said it was called Binge Drinking with My Dog.
Pub should be a place for dogs. It's a public house. Bring your wives, bring your kids, bring your dogs. It's a place to congregate. Civilization, that's what this is. Maybe you've heard of it.
Lawmakers are set to return to the State House on June 16th. No word yet on whether Casey's play has inspired them to stop off first for a pint with their pups. Coming up, it's been a little over 2 years since Patrick Leahy announced his retirement from the U.S. Senate. He sat down recently with Vermont Public's Bob Kinzel to talk about his historic career, his personal health, and the current political landscape. That's after this.
Thanks for listening to The Frequency, where support comes from VITA, supporting business growth and innovation in the Green Mountain State. From agriculture to manufacturing, energy to food production, find solutions that turn your business dreams into reality. Visit VEDA.org and see how VITA can help make it happen.
It's been almost 2.5 years since Senator Patrick Leahy stepped down from office. First elected in 1974, Leahy served 8 terms in the U.S. Senate, giving him the 3rd longest tenure in the history of that chamber. Recently, Vermont Public's Bob Kinzel sat down and spoke with Leahy. They discussed Leahy's recent diagnosis of having metastatic skin cell cancer and his successful treatment, as well as Leahy's thoughts about several current political issues.
You've recently had a bout with cancer. How are you doing?
Well, if I had my choice of having it or not having it. But fortunately, it's curable, and they use a process called immunotherapy. They try that instead of surgery to eradicate the tumor, which is in one place. And it's been working. There's only one drawback. You get really tired, and it affects my voice. But, we go out for long walks, and it feels good. Being home makes all the difference.
Your prognosis is good.
Oh, yeah. It's very good. The doctors say You go through this part, and you're done. And they're all confident.
That's very good news.
Well, I prefer that to the alternative.
I wanted to talk to you about Joe Biden. You've known Joe Biden for over 50 years. He's a very good friend of yours. You know, in the last few months, there have been a lot of questions raised about his mental capacities in the last 2 years of his presidency. What are your thoughts on this subject?
I wasn't there the last 2 years of his presidency. I had already retired. But the first 2 years, remember we had the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And I saw Joe Biden go to each one of our NATO allies. He got every one of them to come together and support us in standing up against Russia and the dictator in Russia.
What did you think, though, when you saw Joe Biden at that first presidential debate where his performance seemed to alarm a lot of people? Did you watch that debate and
I
think...
did, and I was concerned. I did not talk with him about it. Everybody was calling him. I figured the last thing he needed was advice from a former senator.
In retrospect, do you think it was a mistake for him to be a candidate for re-election in 2024?
In retrospect, I wish, well, you can't rewrite history, but I wish after the victories he had with NATO, the victories he had in bringing our economy back, the victories he had in fighting COVID, the victories he had in getting people back to work, all of those victories, getting both national and international praise, he said, it would have been good if he said, I really am proud to have been president, and I wish well to the next president. You know, I don't want to compare being in the Senate to being president. It's not the same by any means. I could have easily been reelected, and I said, no, I want to go home.
You know, there have been dozens of lawsuits filed by states to block some of the actions of the Trump administration because they believe that they usurp the authority of Congress. It's likely that many of these cases will be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, you're very familiar with the makeup of the court. I think you were involved in the confirmation hearings of all 9 of the current justices.
And a few before them.
And you voted for John Roberts.
Yes.
How confident are you that the Supreme Court will find that many of Trump's initiatives are unconstitutional?
I'm confident they're going to find some of them. You have some people who never accept the idea that a Republican could do something wrong. There are so many things that have been done that are so blatantly unconstitutional. You see Republican and Democratic judges throw them out. What I worry is that you become almost a judicial overwhelm, and people stop doing that. And I keep asking, when is the House and the Senate going to stand up on things that they know are totally unconstitutional and safe? And I think the worst thing is the Congress just rolls over and plays dead. I hear a House member say, well, we work for him. No, you're elected on your own. You're a separate branch of government.
Senator Patrick Leahy, many thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Frequency today. We had additional reporting from Lola Dufour, Abigail Giles, and Mary Engish. Today's episode was edited by Liam Elder Connors, and our music is by Blue Dot Sessions. I'm Mitch Wertlieb, and I'll talk to you soon.
Planet Money helps you understand the economy. We find the people at the center of the story.
Garbage in New York, that was like a controlled substance.
We show you how money influences everything.
Tell me what you like by telling me how you spend your money.
And we dig until we get answers.
I had a bad feeling you were going to bring that up.
Planet Money finds out. All you have to do is listen. The Planet Money Podcast from NPR.